This is Niger, a place so dry you can feel the heat through the screen. It's one of the harshest corners of the planet. Sand, sun, and not much else. But here's the thing. Beneath all this emptiness, Niger's sitting on a gold mine. Uranium. Enough of it to power entire cities halfway across the world. Yeah, this stuff, it's the fuel for nuclear reactors. And Niger's got so much, it's been shipping it out for decades. Right now, it's lighting up Paris, cafes buzzing, trains zipping, the whole deal. But back here, 80% of Nigerians don't even have electricity. 80%. Let that hit you. How does that even happen? How does a country this rich in something this valuable stay this poor? That's what we're digging into today, because Niger's story isn't just weird. It's a paradox that's been running for over a century, and it's about to blow up. To get why Niger's in this mess, we've got to rewind. Way back. It's the late 1800s, and Europe's playing a game of grab the map. France is on a tear, slicing up Africa like it's a buffet. And Niger, it's just another piece they scoop up. But this isn't about building a nation. It's about taking whatever they can get. By the 1890s, France rolls in and claims Niger, lumps it into this giant blob they call French West Africa. Dakar's the HQ, hundreds of miles away, and Niger's just a dusty outpost. They draw borders that don't make sense, cut right through nomadic tribes like the Tuareg, mess up trade routes. It's not about the people here. It's about control. France isn't here to set up schools or farms. Nah, they're here to extract. Gold, cotton, whatever's lying around. They tax the locals, force labour, build just enough roads to ship stuff out. And then, in the 1950s, they hit the jackpot, uranium. Up north near Arlit, they find these massive deposits. Independence is around the corner, but France isn't about to let that slip away. This is the setup. France spends decades pulling strings, locking in resources, and uranium's the big one. By 1960, Niger's technically free. But the game's already rigged. Colonialism didn't just end. It left a playbook, and France kept the best pages. All right, fast forward to 1960. Niger's free, technically. The French colonial bosses are out, and this new nation's got a shot to cash in. But there's this shiny prize under the sand. Uranium. It's jackpot time. Except France doesn't walk away. This is where it turns into the heist of the century. France had clocked this back in the 50s. Massive uranium deposits near Arlit, locked in just before they handed over the keys. By the 70s, the mines are roaring. They're run by a French company, Areva, later Orano, state-backed, slick, and laser-focused on one thing: keeping France's nuclear reactors humming. Here's how it goes down. At its peak, Niger's pumping out uranium, enough that 70% of France's nuclear fuel comes straight from this desert. That's billions of dollars lighting up Paris, powering their grid. Areva's raking it in, huge profits. And Niger, they get a cut. 5 to 12% royalties, 5 to 12. That's the deal they're stuck with. But it's not just the money getting stolen. These mines, they leave scars. Workers in Arlit talk about radiation, cancer creeping up, water turning toxic, no cleanup, no big fixes. France gets the prize. Niger gets the fallout. This isn't a partnership, it's a grab, baked in from the colonial days and still running strong. So why isn't this cash changing Niger? Why is a country fueling France still sitting in the dark? Turns out, the heist is only half the story. Something big is at play here, and it's been grinding them down for decades. So, France pulls off this uranium heist, billions flow out, Niger's left with scraps. But here's the kicker. Even with that kind of prize, this place stays broke. Why? Because Niger's caught in something bigger, a poverty machine. It's not just about what's stolen. It's about a system that's been grinding them down for decades, and it's built to keep spinning. First gear in this machine, the land itself. Niger's mostly desert, harsh, unforgiving. 70% of people here depend on farming, but the rains don't come like they should. Droughts in the 70s wiped out crops, killed livestock, hundreds of thousands starved. Then floods, like in 2024, wash it all away again. You can't build wealth when the ground's fighting you every step. Next gear, people. Niger's got 26 million now, and it's doubling every 20 years. Fastest birth rate on the planet. 7 kids per woman on average. More mouths to feed, but the land's not growing. Schools can't keep up. Jobs don't exist. It's a pressure cooker, and the lid's been on tight for a while. And the final gear? The system running it, or not running it. Corruption's a beast here. Elites sign deals like that uranium cut, pocketing what little comes in. Roads crumble, power lines don't reach. Right now, 4.5 million Nigerians need help just to eat, while mines hum in the background. This machine doesn't break down. It's built to keep them down. This is why the uranium cache doesn't matter. It's not just stolen, it's swallowed by a trap that's been turning since the colonial days. But in 2023, someone decides to kick the machine. And that's where it gets messy. All right, we're at 2023 now, and Niger's poverty machine is still churning. Uranium's stolen, the land's brutal, the system's rotten. But then, bam, someone kicks it. July 26th, a coup flips the table. Soldiers storm the capital, oust the president, and suddenly, everything's up in the air. Is this the fix Niger's been waiting for? Or just more chaos? Here's the guy, General Abdourahamane Chiani. He's the head of the Presidential Guard, been simmering for years. He locks up President Mohamed Bazoum, still detained today, and takes over. Why? He says the old guard failed. Too soft on jihadists, too cozy with France. And France? They're the first to feel it. He boots their troops out by December, shuts down their uranium lifeline. But this isn't just a solo act. Chiani teams up with Mali and Burkina Faso, 2 other coup-run neighbours, and they form this alliance of Sahel states. Out goes the West, in comes Russia. Mercenaries roll in, promising to fight the chaos France couldn't. The streets cheer it. Sovereignty, they shout. Except the chaos doesn't stop. Jihadists hit harder. 21 soldiers dead near Burkina just this year. Meanwhile, that poverty machine? It's still grinding. Oil pipelines stall over fights with Benin, food scarce. 3.4 million went hungry last lean season. Nearly 1 million are displaced now, fleeing violence the junta can't tame. Chiani's talking a 5-year plan to fix it, but 5 years in this mess feels like forever. This coup kicked the machine all right, kicked it into overdrive. So here we are, 2025. France is out, Russia's in, and Niger's still stuck. Is this the break they needed, or just a new spin on the same old trap? That's the question hanging over this place, and it's not going anywhere soon. Niger's story. It's a gut punch. A country sitting on uranium, enough to power cities halfway across the world, yet 80% of its people live in the dark. We've traced it. France's colonial grab, the uranium heist, a poverty machine that won't quit, and now a coup that's shaking the whole mess up. But here's where we land, in 2025. And it's not a neat ending. This place is still one of the poorest on Earth, 189 out of 191, says the UN. France is out, Russia's in, juntas promise change. But the desert's still dry, the kids still haul water, and jihadists keep coming. That uranium cache? It's not breaking the trap, it's just feeding a new spin on the same old game. And that's the big question hanging here. Can Niger ever flip this script? There's a flicker. Oil pipelines could shift the game if they play it right. People in the streets want out of this cycle, and you can feel that hunger. But history's heavy. Colonial echoes don't fade easy. Is this the moment they break free, or just another turn in the machine? I don't have the answer. Maybe you do. Drop it below. Because Niger's not alone. This story's playing out across the continent, and it's ours to wrestle with. Thanks for sticking with this. Hit that subscribe if you're in for more. Niger's waiting, and so are we.